But I suppose it kind of makes sense. So, okay. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Speedrun. It's a it's a game that I've seen some people express interest in running, but there isn't really, or rather there aren't really very many resources out there to help you learn how to speedrun the game, so I thought I'd make a tutorial video. So, before we begin, you want a completed save file, so when you go to start game you'll have this screen showing that you've previously completed it with all three of the paths. This allows you to skip cutscenes, which is a major time save. And it also allows you to pick which path you're going to be taking. So the timer starts when it goes from this screen to fade to black. Start. First cutscene, and you skip through it. And the first little bit of the run, there's nothing you can do to speed it up. So in this nightmare, you just have to wait a set period of time. You can walk around, you can fight the zombies, you can let them start to swing and dodge. Really, it doesn't matter what happens here. It's just a set amount of time before you get control. That's interesting. Alright, so in that cutscene, I started holding down so that box would scroll immediately. And what we want to do is essentially just rush right to the clock area. As you approach the clock, you kind of want to turn about 90 degrees because the characters have wide turning circles, and if you do part or most of the turn before you interact with an object, you can more easily get going to where you want to be going without running into walls or desks or anything. So adjust the clock to 3:33. Analog stick moves the hands faster. If you go too far over, or not quite far enough, you can use the D-pad for smaller adjustments. And then we go and interact with the book. All of your movement directions are perspective based, which means sometimes they end up shifting, and takes some getting used to. So we interact with the book and we start Pius's chapter.
I could not see beyond.
So in Pius's chapter, which is fairly straightforward really, we need to pick up 3 blocks, use them in a wall, use them at one point, press a button, go through a teleporter, go through a combat tutorial. It's pretty straightforward. So these blocks, and other things as well, when you go to interact with them, there can be a quick cut or to the item, or a camera pan to the item. You want the quick cut, like that. And while you want to be spending most of your time sprinting, you actually cannot interact with things while you are sprinting. So you need to stop sprinting, interact with the thing, pick it up, and then start sprinting again. That goes for items as well as doors. You cannot interact with while sprinting. So here we get our inventory tutorial. It's 4 presses of B, and scroll down 1, and use the block with the wall. And for the rest of these, in this area, all the blocks we're going to be using are in the default position in the menu, which is the top left. So it's start AA essentially to put them into the wall. And that's full speed more or less. Should be able to put in most of the blocks about that quickly, since they're just in the default position. Alright, so now we get the combat lock-on tutorial. It doesn't matter which order you hit the things in, only that the torso is last. As long as the door doesn't stop like it just did there, you are not losing time, so just wail on every part of the body and the door will just continuously move down. Alright, so we push this button and it activates a teleporter. What we're going to try to do is approach the teleporter and swing the sword. If we do this correctly, Titus will teleport after the sword swing is complete without walking into the middle of the teleporter. It saves a short amount of time. So, approach, swing the sword. I wasn't quite close enough and walked into the portal and got the walk anyways. But yeah, you can do it. I just wasn't quite positioned right. So for this, we're going to use Ulyaoth. You can also use Zalatoth if you want. The routes are fairly different. I would recommend against Chiturga because Chiturga is harder and slower. But as I said, we're going to be Ulyaoth for this tutorial. Alright, so immediately turn around, get Elia's chapter page, and you can enter the menu immediately. You don't have to wait for the camera to scroll back, and then just use the chapter.
I cannot say what was the true
And start
beginning,
Elia.
nor am I.
Alright, so for Elia, we want to go through this, I guess you could say right hand hallway. Now, after this cutscene, everything is lined up perfectly, so you just hold sprint and run straight forward, and you're perfectly fine through this hallway. Elia has some stamina management to her, which I will try to at the very least emulate, because I'll have more stamina than I usually do. So here we've got the Sanity tutorial and this Zalatoth zombie. What we're going to do after we cancel out of this is we're going to run up to him and do 3 neutral hits on the body. Alright, so we got the 3 neutral hits. He's going to fall down. After we exit out of this, we're going to go to his right hand side and do targeted swings at his head. If he stays on the ground, it will be 3 swings. If he gets up, it will be 4 swings. And that will allow us to just get past the finishing enemies tutorial. Like that. If you don't do that, you have to wait a moment before it will let you skip through that text box. X and Y for the candles. You can hit them simultaneously one at a time. Doesn't really matter. Just try to do it quickly. Speedrun, so of course try to do it quickly. Okay, so here, half step to the right, and that allows us to just run straight through. Normally I'll do that half step while I'm running towards the camera, but that time I did it separately just to show about the distance. So sometimes you'll want to switch to walking, and sometimes you'll want to be running, or possibly even sneaking, and this is all stamina. Ideally, when you get to this room, during that cutscene, Elia will stop and pant and get her stamina back during that cutscene. And as you saw, you just You can just kind of sprint through that. Other blades. I should have explained that more. I apologize. So here, wait just a moment, and then you can sprint past. So, A and then slide to B, and you can just pick that up very quickly. Okay, so we just kind of run. That guy doesn't actually do anything useful for us, so we just abandon him. In general, any trap that's going to have walls coming at you, you want to stop for. Because it will likely hurt you if you just run. Okay, so here, we're going to take one walking step to time out the arrows and then start sprinting. So that we don't get hit at all. Sometimes I will step on this button as an excuse to slow down, sometimes I will not. If you do, you just want to wait for them to go, to do their thing. And then sprint right through these blades. They will not hit you as long as you keep sprinting. So, you want to mix in some walking here and there in order to keep your stamina up as you're sprinting all over the place. And you're fine running out of stamina here because you'll get a restore shortly when we pick up the staff. So, pick up the staff, then turn around and head back. No real reason to do anything in Rock's room other than that. The more zombies have spawned, they can sometimes get in your way. Okay, so I like to walk to about here before sprinting. Sprint straight through these. Wait for those. Okay, now this is a... Okay, so that was an unfortunate thing that can happen. Sometimes, that guy will stand in the middle of that doorway like you saw, and will block your path. If he does, you can just go to one side and let him move. That's what happens if you're too far when you try to use an item. Tells you you can't use it yet. Just take a step or two closer and you should be fine. So use the metal staff there, just in the default position. Run past these guys. And now just back to Mandrake's room again. Okay. And we handle this hallway the same way we did before, pretty much. Wait for this. But that's not quite what I meant. Okay. I got lucky and still managed to sprint past those. So, don't get hit by the wall if you can avoid it. I just wasn't quite far enough forward. Okay, so here, you'll probably... So here you want to switch between walking and sprinting pretty much. Find a balance that works for you. You want to preferably be sprinting more than walking. And that's all this chapter. So, this time in the mansion is also fairly short. We have a candle puzzle to solve, and then we're going to pick up the Gladius. So this one, just A and X. Pick up the message tube immediately. Over to the Gladius. That up. One, roll over to that. One to the right. Pick that up. Cutscene. After the cutscene, this pops up. You can close this text box while the screen is still fading in. And then just use the chapter as normal.
From my research, it is apparent that the endeavors...
Alright. Anthony is also fairly straightforward. He's the first one we get runes with, so we'll start to have some magic. The first thing we do with him is we run past these guys and interact with the coffin.
Oh my god, what is
What
it?
happened? This devil's work. We should get out of here.
You have proven what we have feared the most.
Okay. Gets us the sword. We will be equipping it shortly, but not quite yet. As you go through and run the game yourself, you'll probably find out other ways you prefer to do things than how I do them, but I'm just generally going to show what I do for these things. So, there are other strategies out there for when to do what. So, I have a note about that hall that I meant to go over. I will go over that next one. Okay, so the urn, pick that up, and then the circle of power. So here we got our first bit of magic tutorial. The first two boxes scroll, so you'll want to hold down for them. And then get through, equip the sword, and break the urn. Get through the last part of the magic tutorial. Well, the last part for now, at least. You interact with the bookcase, head down the ladder. Alright, so for this zombie, what we're going to do is we're going to run up to him, hit his head twice, then his left arm thrice. And he'll fall over. We'll make a short circle in order to line ourselves up to finish him, and then we will finish him off to get the rune. Kind of go towards this wall here. Circle, and then finish. So we got this rune. Project. I'll be giving the runes their English names while I'm referring to them, just to make it a little bit easier. At least I think it's easier to do it that way. So the torch is required to pick up the pieces of the green urn. One here, one back here. Just to mix them while it gives you that tutorial pop-up. Third one, I entered the menu immediately to finish fixing that up. Then talk to this guy for the sword. Two-edged sword will be useful for both Anthony and Paul, so we definitely want it. So here, we stick close to the central column, and then we can just hit the zombie as soon as we get around to facing him. And we get the item rune. Which I kinda hurried past. So, run that tapestry, then over, walk up to the fountain, equip the sword. Now, new spell. Project item. Assign it wherever you feel comfortable. I like putting it on up. And quick thing to note about the spells: if you make one, you skip through that. But you can skip through that. You don't have to sit through their little chant. But you can make the spells fairly quickly, and it takes some practice to get the menus right, how far left and right to go. But the spell menu will always have the runes in the same order, so you can memorize what order they're in. Okay, so we assigned spell 1, enchant. Immediately after we leave the menu, we are going to cast the button. We are going to press the button we assigned it to and cast it. Blue urn. Alright. last bit of the magic tutorial puts us on the blue urn, and we can just fill it up. After we close this, we are going to cast the spell again on the green urn. Enter the menu, fill the green urn, pick up the red urn, and then go over and through the door. This zombie here, we can stick close to this wall and take him out with a single swing. The magic menus are a little rough to learn early on, but you get them eventually. So this plate here, if Anthony stands on it, it will give you a cutscene. That's just a waste of time. You can stand close to it and use the urns on it. You can stand on it and use the urns on it. If you are fast in using the urns, it will not really activate the cutscene very much. You can just kind of skip through it by putting all the urns down in rapid succession. So each urn will be in default position if you just use the one in default position. So immediately after this menu, you can enter this text box rather. You can enter the menu to use the next one. So full speed, it looks like this, and you'll just do that for all three at full speed. And if you're fast enough, you will skip over the. Even if you step on the plate, you'll skip over the cutscene of Anthony triggering it because all the urns will be down. Okay, so to fight the bishop, we're going to swing at each of his arms twice. His left arm, then his right arm is how I do it. And then after we take off his second arm, we pick up the key. It doesn't just jump into our inventory, we have to pick it up. So, stick towards this wall in this hallway, and you can hit the zombies as they approach. Anthony, as you notice, has a wide swing. If you try to swing from the middle, you'll kind of hit the wall and won't really damage them. Okay, so usually you go around to the left of that guy. I was slow in doing that because I wanted to stop to explain it. But that was a backup, going around the one to the right if you're blocked. And this is a trapper. So trappers, you don't want them to catch you. They are random in how quickly they get aggravated as well as their movement. Some of them have semi-randomized positions. So for this, we want to run up, kind of go in circles, and agitate it, and then duck back through the door we came through when it is ready to try to trap us. So you can get closer or further depending on how risky you want to be. And if you just run right into the trapper, it will catch you every time. Okay, so here we've got a sanity effect. Turn around and leave. That sanity effect always occurs. It's basically scripted. Not actually, but basically. That's how we go through the run. And we're basically just backtracking the way we came. So, in the next room, we've got a horror to fight, kind of like a mini boss. So what we're going to do is we are going to try to get close enough to where it's basically at the edge of the two-edged sword range, and then swing 3 times at its heads. This is a quick kill, so it will. If we do it right, it'll die before it can actually deal any damage to us, which is ideal. There is an alternative way of doing it, where you go kind of to its side and take off each of its arms with one swing each. I haven't done that one before. The task does it. But I haven't been able to figure out what the positioning is on that, so I will be doing the go for the heads method. Alright. And that's how you do it. That is successfully that time. It's very easy to go just a little too close and not be able to get the 3 swings in before you get hit. If that's the case, he'll knock you back and you'll just have to take a hit or 2 and then you can finish him off.
This isn't really happening.
Okay. Well, that sanity effect was actually a good thing because I wanted to explain something and I was still talking about the horror. So we wanted to stick to the wall pretty much as we go down here. So we can slip by him and then down around those guys. Just manipulating enemy movement. Use the key and then the door, and we're done with Anthony. Alright, so after Anthony, we have our first time leaving that hidden study. Find a chapter page. We'll be doing that for most of them. One exception. But for the rest of the game, all but that one exception, we will be leaving them that room for. So, run up to the 2nd floor. Try the key. It breaks. Use the button we assigned for repair. Repair the key. If we want to assign the spells that we're going to be using most often, so that we don't have to be navigating through the menus. Alright, so this room on the right. Drag to the painting and take the chapter page. And then we start Kareem.
Dreams. Modern psychology of
Okay, so Kareem has a lot of opportunity to fight. We'll be skipping through most of that because we're not too interested in it. But there is some fighting we have to do. He has 2 arenas. We'll get to those when we get to those. So, the Hall of the Tome of Eternal Darkness. Like I said, movement is perspective based. So, it takes... The movement through this room is deceptively difficult to keep going straight. You kinda start in a bottom left movement and then go around to a top right type movement. Takes some getting used to. But you get it eventually. Okay, so we run over here and grab this first statuette. We'll be taking 2 statuettes in the next couple rooms. So, after we pick this up, I said, we go to this guy at the base of the ladder and hit him in the torso twice. Get ready to leave. Ulyath zombies will basically make all the other Ulyath zombies detonate as well. So, if there's a rune zombie, getting any of the nearby zombies to start singing, as it's called, will get you that rune. So, get the rune, then climb up the ladder. Just use the statuette here. And that was the self rune. That we picked up. So we want this statuette as well. drop it here, and then run over to this last panel. This elevator has 4 trappers on it. Just kind of go left and down, and you can generally get on the elevator without trouble. Sometimes the trappers are mean, kind of like that. But left and down, and you can get there, BA to interact with it, and make your way to this hallway. Okay. Accidentally pressed attack there. Don't worry about that. Alright, so this movement I'm doing here, where I'm going kind of along this wall, is to kind of manipulate their positions. So this horror is a little more difficult than the horror in Anthony's chapter. What we want to do is get kind of behind it or to its side and aim at its heads. If you are behind it or to its side, the heads will take 1 swing. If you're in front of it, they will take 2. This horror likes to follow you around in circles and try to get behind it, so sometimes you might want to just go for attacking from the front, but you'll take a lot of damage if you do that. So it's a bit of a judgment call how you want to fight it. I generally try to go for 2 of the heads from behind at least. Because this is the kind of thing that happens if you just try to base tank a Jiturga horror. You take a lot of damage. Okay, so now we've got the Absorb rune. If you want some sanity, you can finish him off. Usually I don't, but you can if you want the extra sanity protection. And if your health's low here, you can use the talisman. You'll almost always get a sanity effect when you do. So I'm not going to do that here. So in this room, we've got a trapper. We can duck into this corner to avoid its rings. Then once they're gone, run up to this door, and then down the ladder. We get a scripted sanity effect somewhere in this area. Usually I get it when going down the ladder. You can get it when leaving the horror room as well.
This isn't really happening.
And then run past these guys. Oh, they're blocking you this time. That's nice. Okay, so if they do that, you can just make them sing. I'm going to go ahead and use the talisman now. And that's the sanity effect that I mentioned before. Okay, so I'm going to use the talisman where I normally would. Alright, so we pick up the Ramdao, just run right up to it, and this will start the first arena once we accept this. We've got a few waves of enemies to fight. First, Mantarog zombies. 1 swing to the torso will knock them down. I don't know what that one's doing over there. Okay, I'm going to hope I finish out. Nope, I did not finish out the right one. Well, I will use the talisman here. Weird things are happening. Okay, so second wave. More Mantarog zombies. Again, 1 targeted swing at the torso will knock down each of them. I don't know what is with them right now. They never do that. Just had to act weird during the tutorial video, I suppose. Here I like to equip the Ramdao, and this is where I usually use the talisman. Okay, so this one, Goliath zombies, swing at that one's torso, overhead strike that one. Those 2 over there are singing, so we finish off this one. turn around and they explode. And that gets us to the next wave. This is the last wave. So here, just overhead swing this one. Now, the other two, they look like Julius zombies, but they have bone thieves in them. So what we're going to do is we're going to overhead swing, and then as the bone thief is getting ready to exit, move to its right hand side and overhead swing as soon as the bone thief pops out. It's right as soon as it pops out, and beat. Now, now if we want to, we can make a recover spell. One of the ancients, the absorb, and stealth. Normally I don't make this as a 3-point, but early on you definitely can, and in this case I am going to, just because I've taken a lot of damage, oddly enough. So you also want to assign spell 1 as your new rune, the Julius rune. I like to, again, put them wherever is comfortable. So what you want to do is you want to time them out so that you enchant the Ramdao while the door is opening. You finish the spell as the door is opening, so that the animations overlap and it saves you some time. I'm not going to be able to do that, I don't think, because I think my timing is off. Because normally I'm not limping here. I'm going to try this timing. Okay, so I actually timed it correctly. Usually you do that when you get right when you get out to the door, not limping. But my health situation's been weird for Kareem. I'm going to use an extra talisman, just because, like I said, health's been weird. Okay, so up to this door that has the Ramdao symbol on it, and you go into the inventory to use it. Basically making your way through as normal. There aren't really many glitches in the game, so it's about optimally doing things the intended way. Alright, run past the horror. Down here. Use the book. It is quite easy to die on Kareem, really. Yeah. It can be a bit of a roadblock early on. I mean, I nearly died, and I've been running this game for a while now, so it is definitely something that can happen. To finish off these Minotaur zombies, to get the next wave to spawn faster, we are in our second and last arena. Alright, swing at the Julius zombie's torso, gets the other one to start singing. Run away. They will generally explode before this wave spawns in, which is expected. So this wave spawns in. I'm going to go ahead and use the heal that I assigned before. Get my health up. The one on the far right is a bone thief. We are going to deal with it the same way we dealt with the other bone thieves. But first we want these three here to start singing. To its right, and it pops out overhead. Back off from the explosion. The explosion gets both larger and more powerful, the more Ulyaoth zombies are seen. So if you're out of line of sight, it will just roar a couple times and then start walking forward. Run up, get right up in his face, and overhead. If you are too far away, you won't one-shot him, but you can if you get right up in his face. Okay, the Chiturgo one will spawn. And we finished off that Ulyaoth zombie because this doesn't spawn until they've all despawned. So pick up the artifact and we are done with Kareem. So, immediately after these scenes, what we want to do is enchant with our new alignment, Gladius. So, Ulyaoth enchantment. I assigned Ulyaoth to a different button, but that's not as important in this one. In this path. It's just kind of something I do. You're free to put it wherever. Even overriding your old enchantment. I should have mentioned that before. So, take the key from this lock in the main room. Over here. And we use the Gladius with this door like we used the Ramdal before. Bunch of bees to pick up this jar, then open it. And like with Kareem, when we skip out of this, when we skip this cutscene, we will be able to just press B to dismiss the text box. And then jump in and use the chapter.
I will not argue that I was shocked by
And we
the
start
sudden
max.
mention.
First thing we do when we load in is max. We take the ammo, and then we go over this way. Going downstairs first. And once we come into this big room, we set this over to the right to Zoltoth. In here. Pistol on the wall. This is actually Max's second, even though we only picked up the one. And then we take the book. While I read the chapter, I am doing a speedrun tutorial right now. Or at least attempting it. Alright, so we're going to ignore the saber. Others get it for the Guardian later on. I use a different strategy, so will not be taking it. In here, we use our Ulyaoth enchantments on the pistols as soon as we step in. Along here, into the pantry the jar was in, pick up the pump handle, and then into the main room. Ulyaoth Horror. 2 shots, both aimed at the heads. Load in a 3rd shot, also aim it at the heads. You can do it like I did, just out of that room. You can also start climbing these stairs and then turn around. Doesn't make too much of a difference. Just whatever's comfortable. Whatever seems right. So, at some point before we pick up this envelope, you want to stop and reload the pistols. Both of them, so we have 2 shots loaded. When we take the envelope, the window will break and we're going to run away. Back into the main room. And here, it doesn't matter which of the staircases we go down. I usually go down the left one just because. Sometimes I go down the right. But the horror will always appear on the opposite side of where you come down. So, we take care of this horror the same way we did the last one. 2 shots aimed at the head. We dodge the shock. Load in 1 Oh, loading one bullet. And then a third shot at the head, and it's down. And this gets us the Zelatoth rune. So now we have the weakness of our ancient. So, you step through the door, then go into the menu. Over here to new spell. Absorb and area. We got area from the Uliathor we fought earlier. And then we want area and project. As you notice, the magic menu remembers which rune you were last on, so you want to kind of plan out the way you make these so that you can minimize how long you're scrolling through the menu. Okay, so we want to assign spell 1 to Zelatoth. We want to assign spell 3 to Zelatoth as well. Enchant and reveal invisible respectively. And we want to assign spell 9. The alignment doesn't matter, so just go through to Chiturga. Because since it doesn't matter, Chiturga's the quickest to menu through. So when we exit here, we are going to cast Reveal Invisible, the spell 3 that we assigned. And this reveals the door. So now we go down here, we pick up this other ammo that's right along here. Then we use the Sunglobe, get the key, unlock, and go in. Just go right to the well, and use the pump handle. Okay, so start loading. After the first bullet's loaded in, change the enchantment to the Zelatoth enchantment.
Enter by Zelatoth.
Then go up to the door, interact twice,
What's going on?
then climb down the ladder again. Turn around, lock on fire. And we get the protect rune. Load in 2 shots. And down the stairs, and we find ourselves an unskippable cutscene. So with this setup, this fight always goes essentially the same way. There's some randomness in where the Guardian decides to spawn the second time, but this fight always the same, essentially. We run up a bit, we can get a shot, fire 2 shots, dodge the attack spell, load in 2 more rounds, lock on, 2 more shots, and it's done. It was pretty nice with where it decided to go. Sometimes you have to run and chase it down a little bit. But we're done with Max now. Now that we're done with Max, after this scene, we are going to cast Reveal Invisible again. It's our assignment. Through the door. And we are going upstairs again. To get access to Lindsay's chapter. So, back upstairs. This time we go right, door, and since we have Reveal Invisible up, the keyhole is immediately shown. Menu, dresser key, open, examine, accept. Cutscene. Just the menu, no text box to close this time.
The ancients' influence was incredible. From
Alright, so Lindsay, we immediately equip the shotgun, and we are going to try to shoot this gatekeeper in the back. If we successfully shoot it in the back, it will take 1 shot. If you shoot it in the front, it will take 3 shots. If you get 1 to the back and 1 kind of to the side or front, it should generally take 2. So, 1 shot to the actual back will finish it, so side and then front will be 2 shots. Once it's down, run to this pile of dirt in the middle and use the brush. Then run straight across to the statue and give it the bracelet. And we go to the Hall of the Tome of Eternal Darkness once more. Run through it as we have been. Pick up the book. Run past these guys. Kind of ignore them. Go to the right a bit to avoid setting off these traps. Shoot the trapper, because we don't like trappers. Pick up this metal bracelet, very important. I've forgotten it too many times. In here, we see the horror, but we're only interested in a necklace. So we pick up the necklace and we are backtracking to the statue. It is very easy to hit the traps. Do your best not to, but sometimes you just can't really avoid it. Hello, Ozzy. Thank you for the luck. So, we are giving the bronze necklace to the statue. So, opens up a couple doors. We are going through this way. Picking up this silver bracelet. Menu, give it the metal bracelet. It's very easy to accidentally put down the silver bracelet. If you do, you have to watch those scenes again of the doors opening and closing. So preferably don't put down the silver bracelet, but it definitely something that's very easy to do. So here, fire at one of the Uliath zombies to get them to sing and get the dispel rune from the rune zombie. So, here, there's a zombie in this hallway. Not too concerned about him. Alright, so now that we're in here, new spell. We want Protect and Self, as well as Area and Dispel. It takes some memorization to remember which runes are which and how to make which spells, but it doesn't take too long to get it figured out. So now we want spell 5, Dispel, set to Zelatoth, as well as spell 7, Shield, set to Zelatoth. Spell 7, Roar Assignment, then spell 5, and what we're going to do is we're going to run behind him, pick up the silver necklace, then loop around and jump through the door. Okay. Once we're here, once we're back to the statue that was in the middle of this hallway, we didn't really look at it before. Give it the necklace and the bracelet, and this opens the door to the next level. If you don't have any shields left, cast a shield before you go on. That one usually will not do anything, but you still want the shield. shot to this one with the creature rune. So for whatever reason, the gatekeepers don't actually hurt your sanity baubles. Shield baubles. I call them baubles. So in here, the way I go about this room is I just kind of run past things. Cast a shield if you don't have any baubles left. If you have one left, just run in, because you're going to lose all your baubles regardless because of that horror. Run to this cobweb, use the brush, and pick up this necklace. Then back the way we came. Put up the shield. Okay. So, again, do your best to not activate traps, but it can be really hard to avoid. I fully admit that I got lucky. So we step on this button, and it makes the statue turn around, and allows us to grab the gold gold bracelet he was guarding. So just sprint past, pick it up, and then sprint past again. Now this hallway, we just want to run through. It's got poison gas in it that we can't avoid. Stop for the wall so you don't get crushed. Here, we use this necklace. Activate this. Examine and activate. Xbox pops up. Then we just take the necklace from there. Leave the room. Cast a shield. Lindsay's out of breath at this point usually, but that's fine. You can just walk a little bit. Alright. Put the necklace and the bracelet on this last statue. And we've got one bauble left, which is fine. I accidentally hit attack there. No reason to do that shot. Scripted sanity effect here. Just keep going, pass through the door again. Here, these zombies will take away our baubles and do some sanity damage. Once you take that damage, put up a shield. Now the reason we've been putting up a shield is if we don't have enough sanity, there's an effect we're going to get very shortly that takes quite a bit of time, and there's no way to speed it up if we get it. We just want to have our sanity up high enough where we can avoid that happening altogether. And it was in this room, so from here on we're not as concerned about sanity. The buttons definitely can be hard to see. You learn how to recognize them after doing it a few times. So it still takes a while longer to actually not run into them. Okay. So. Oh, we got grabbed there. That's unfortunate. Okay, so since we want Lindsay to rest anyway, we might as well cast a shield. Oh, and we've got this shrinking sanity effect. Just move a little bit and we'll eventually end. Okay. I was hoping I could get the shield up. I thought I had the time, but I did not. So that's what happens if you try to use the shield during the gas and it doesn't get off in time. Fire at that one. Usually that takes it out. Sometimes it just falls down and you have to shoot it again. But now we've got the summon rune. So we have the ability to make at least the basic version of every spell in the game. So here, you want summon and creature. and then area and summon. And we want to assign spell 11, summon area, to something. Again, put the spell assignments wherever you're comfortable with them. I'm just putting them where they're comfortable for me. Now, you can do another animation overlap if you start to cast the pool, the magic pool spell, spell 11, at the same time that little door opening is going on. You can stack those animations and save some time. I've only gotten it a couple times, it's fairly precise, but there's no harm in going for it. Shields to stop me from getting staggered by the blades. This is just a sanity effect. I've been getting an unusual amount of sanity effects since I stopped putting up the shields to avoid them. Usually you might get one. I got a few more than that. Alright, so we skip through that tutorial. Go around Mantrock and through the door. I go left. You can also go right. I tried timing it out a few times and it seems that it's the same time. It's the same regardless of which way you go around. I just go to the left personally. Okay, so we're done with Lindsay. And here we will likely get the sanity effect. If we cast a spell, we will stop that sanity from taking place, that sanity effect from taking place. That's why we cast the enchant item on the Gladius and the reveal invisible before, as soon as we could, to avoid that sanity effect. But if we don't take it, it will get some other sanity effect somewhere. As soon as we go in here, I'm going to reset just to show the exact timing. As soon as we go in, we cast the spell. Spell 5 that we assigned before. It opens that up. And when we go around this corner, we'll see Max. If you move a little too quickly, and you're seeing this cutscene while your dispel goes off, you will have to cast a spell again. So you don't want that to happen. So, chapter page, cutscene. After the cutscene, we just go into the menu, and the chapter again.
In Europe,
Now we have
during the
Paul,
time of
who
the
is
Revolution,
famous for going back and forth. So first we want to just go right down the middle of this place. You get the first cutscene. You get bonus points if you have Paul aligned the same way on the carpet as he is in the cutscene. Just so you know. Take the emerald. Again, this is very much just optimally going through the intended path because there aren't really glitches. We try to leave, we get the tome, and we can interact with the door while the screen is still fading in. So we take it, and then you can mash B to interact with the door, go through while it's still fading. And now we just go up to the bell tower. Our first zombie is Paul, is coming up here. Just kind of go around him. And then here, want to go right to the rope and pull it, ring the bell, and summon the custodian. Talk to him. Gives us the old tower key.
Too soon.
And from there we go back down. Oh. Normally I don't get hit by that zombie. Interesting. Alright. So with Paul, his stamina really isn't that great, so we are going to be using the Chiturga pool a few times. I should probably explain that, since we used it in this chapter and we're going to be using it for Paul's. The Chiturga pool, magic pool, will constantly store health and stamina, so as long as it's up you can sprint infinitely. That's essentially why we use it. Because infinite sprinting is a good thing when you're speedrunning. So we ducked into that room and grabbed the podium key. And then we go downstairs. Into the room at the end of that hall. Pick up the Book of Reliquaries. And then continue down this hallway and duck to the right to pick up this mace. After we've got that, go back up here, around to the podium. Once we're here, we equip the mace and use the key. Open the drawer up. After the drawer opens up, it's just A to pick up the paper. No B to get details on it, just A pick it up. Very easy to get that mixed up early on. Up to this door, use the old tower key. Now we're going to start by going up the stairs that are to Paul's left. Pick the sheet music up off the shelf. Then we get this diary page. This bone thief is being a bit unusual. It doesn't usually just walk over like this, but we can just run around him. Alright, so once we've got that done, we want to avoid that guy. He likes to punch you. And now we have to fight Anthony. To make this fight more consistent, I cast a shield. The shield is technically optional, but it makes it, like I said, more consistent. So, you can line yourself up in such a way that you will not get hit. I have not done so this time, unfortunately. And ideally, you can get the last 5 hits on Anthony before he stands up all the way, kind of like that. So we get the ruby and the two-edged sword from him through the door. And now we are going downstairs again. Like I said, Paul, famous for going back and forth. So, we go through the door and cast our magic attack spell, spell 9, that we have assigned. Takes out a couple trappers. This time they were both off screen. Sometimes one will be on screen. Use that barrel. It's this second barrel on the right. Or third, rather. Somewhere in there. So once that's open, we want to go in here, cast spell 7, align it to Chiturga for the shield. And when can spell 1 enchant assigned to Ulyath on the two-edged sword, which also equips it, and in here. So this Chitago horror, much like the last one, we want to kind of get behind it and aim for its heads. This time it's easier. You just get behind it, aim, and because we have this shield, it doesn't actually do anything to stagger us or anything. We can just kind of take it out. That gets us our Sapphire. And while we are in this swinging animation still, we can enter the menu and start using them. We want to use the Sapphire, the Ruby, as well as the Emerald. And you can enter the menu, as you saw, pretty quickly after you actually put one in. You don't have to wait until it zooms out again or anything. So here, sticking to the right-hand wall makes it a little more consistent. You can also stick to the left-hand wall, that's fine too. Run out to this one directly across from where you start, whack it in the chest, and you get the Paragon Rune from the rune zombie that was over there. Here, just go around him. Duck through this door. Now, it's easier to take out these zombies with overhead swings because, like Anthony, Paul also has an awkward side swing to this. So go around that side of the table, the right hand side, just up to the shelf and push it. I do overhead swings for these zombies as well because they are easier to deal with than if you have them singing. And in this room, take page. At this point, I generally like to also use the meditation rod. If I still have sanity, I will hold off on it. So here, we will go right around the table again, because they're out of the way. And essentially we are now backtracking all the way back to the bell tower. So just back the way we came that whole way. Mostly. There's one other thing we need to do on our way there. One thing that's not purely backtracking, we need to play the organ. And we'll be doing that shortly. Okay, so Paul's about out of stamina, which is pretty normal. So, detail, play the organ. So, A, B, Y, X, B, Y, A. Not like that. I missed B. If you get one wrong, just fill out the rest with whatever. So, you can actually get this done pretty quickly. Kind of like that. But it's faster to slow down a little than to have to do the music over and over again, trying to go as fast as possible. So, cast the pool after playing the organ and go back up to the bell tower. The 5-point circle of power was revealed. We picked that up on our way back down because we will have to go down again. Alright. So, after we talk to the bishop again, more monsters will spawn. It's just part of what happens. But they aren't really going to be much concern to us. But they will be there.
Suspected Augustine all along.
So we talk to him, we get the sacrificial knife, and then we head back down towards the basement. Secret basement. And again, just run around the zombies. If you can, don't let them hit you, but sometimes you just accidentally run into something. It happens. Okay. So, now we are going to go pick up the Circle of Power. And kind of flip this corner. Which is why we didn't come and pick it up before, because we could get on our way back without time loss, really. So this brings us into the magic menu. New spell, 5 point. So we want to make a protect self. The protect rune, self rune, 2 cardons. And you do want to make these as quickly as you can, but you also don't want to be messing them up, so go as fast as you can without making mistakes. So now we want a summon creature. So we put in summon, not summon. We put in creature then summon, because creature's closer to Pargon. Summon an area, because again, it remembers the location. Then we absorb area absorb, dispel, and area. And now we assign spells to Zalatoth. Alignment 3, 5, then Chiturga alignment 7, and 11. Just write over the spells that you had before. If you don't feel comfortable having everything assigned to things because the GameCube's D-pad, I completely understand, not the best. I've miscast things several times. Just put on the spells that seem to make the most sense to you. Have they're ready to just cast quickly. But that's what I do. After we exit this menu, we're going to cast the 5 point pool that we just assigned. And then run back down. So, in this room, this hallway, there will be some Mantarok zombies. Usually you can sneak past them, sometimes they block your way and you have to fight them. And in the next room there are a couple trappers. You can just run around them without too much difficulty, but they can be a little bit scary. So I go this way, and just kind of slip around there. If you're on an entirely different level from them, the rings will just go over you or under you, and you're safe from them. But you need to be clearly on a different level. You can't be kinda sorta. You clearly be on a different, in a different position. Alright, so run past these guys and use the sacrificial knife here. Opens up this door. It was unfortunate that we got hit by that. So, 5 point dispel area as soon as we enter here. 2 steps and then we can just run. Or not. I guess it's 3 steps. My bad. Okay, so if my sanity were higher, this would work. What I'm going to do, at least I think I'm going to get knocked out of it. What I'm going to try to do is as soon as this cutscene ends, I'm going to cast a 3 point attack spell. If I have enough sanity, I don't think I do, but if I have enough, it will knock the bone thieves out of the way and allow me to just run past them. If I don't have enough, then I'll take some damage and my choices become either fighting my way past the bone thieves or letting them move of their own accord. So,
You are a clever man.
skip through, pass, yep, took damage. So I let them move on their own because I am bad at fighting them. But you can fight them, that's an option. run past and through the door. And we just basically follow where Pius went. Go through the door, and it's just straightforward corridors and stairways. Stick to the corners, to the inside corners as much as you can, as always. Select yes, and that's the end of Paul. Okay, so now to get Roberto, we need to go play the piano, which we haven't seen yet in Alex's chapter, but it's just across the way. Leave there, go across to the room we first went in with Max, and there's the piano right here. It's the same every time you play the piano. It's the same notes, so. And again, as fast as you can without messing it up is better than messing it up. And then we use the chapter. Start Roberto.
Much has been written about the exploits
Roberto
of
starts with a
conquerors.
text box to close. So hold sprint, dash B to skip the text box, and you start moving immediately. And with Roberto, we need to survey the rooms, as we do. I like to stick to this wall to manipulate that zombie's movement and position a little bit for the way back. So, when you get to a survey point, B, A, B. That's the sequence. This lever you have to confirm, so B, B, A. And you have a lot of BABs, Roberto's chapter. But the rest of these levers are just going to be BBs. Usually you don't get blocked by those zombies, but body blocks happen. All you can really do is accept that they happened and try to go around them when they do. Okay, so here, second one. That's more the speed you want to be doing them at. Right, so we've got this. You get the book. If you want to be sure you have enough magic, you can cast a Uliath-aligned magic pool here. It's not a problem. But down here, 3-point attack. The magic can be a little bit tight at times with Roberto. So, if you feel you need the Uliath pool, go ahead and cast it. But you do have enough without it. You just don't have much leeway in you don't have much leeway for mistakes if you don't have the pool. Alright, so if we try to cast a zombie close to this, it'll be far away and we'll have to walk further. So we go to this more central platform, go into the menu, equip the torch, and then use spell 8 to summon a zombie. Just a tutorial alignment is fine because it's the fastest to menu too. and it doesn't matter which kind of zombie we put in there. We get the tutorial, and we basically just want to sprint the zombie to where the other zombie got squished. That opens our door over here. Now, this gatekeeper will summon a trapper. What we want to do is run past the gatekeeper, go a little bit to the right to get the trapper to explode, and run away from the trapper so it doesn't catch us. It does take some getting a feel for, but it's fairly consistent once you get it. Pick up the essence and then survey the area, and then turn around. You'll need to walk a bit here and there for the sake of stamina. Alright. So, once we're back in this room, go through this door, down this ladder, and immediately cast the 3-point attack. Alright. Go ahead and walk forward a bit if you like, and cast the 5-point reveal invisible, spell 5. We get a couple cutscenes, one showing us that our reveal invisible shows a platform, another showing us that the key is there. So we take the key, turn around, and we get a scripted sanity effect somewhere around here. For me, it pretty much always happens here.
This isn't really happening.
And then ignore the effigy and climb the ladder. Okay, that was unfortunate. I waited for that to spread so that I would know that all of the zombies would be gone. So, survey here. So since I took that hit, my magic's a little lower than it would normally be. Not ideal. So, up to this door. Key. Enter. Cast the shield. If you feel like it, I'm walking for stamina. It's fine. And run across the damaging floor. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to run up to the rope, lock onto it, and burn it. And as we're burning it with by swinging the torch at it, once we start burning it, we want to cast a 5-point shield. Because we have to wait for the bridge to drop and clear anyways, might as well cast our shield while we're waiting. These things show up, we swing the torch at each of them once, like that, and run over to the lever. You can wait for them to despawn and do the survey before the lever, but you can just as easily survey on the way back, and you're not wasting time waiting around if you just run for the lever first. And then after this survey, you get this text box with the survey complete. If you don't get that, that means you missed one of the surveys somewhere. Now, after we cross this damaging floor, I'll be casting the 5-point Jaturga pool that's assigned to keep stamina up while I run back, because we have to run back to the beginning, so the constant stamina regeneration is a good thing. And we've got this sanity effect here. All the ammo. Unfortunately for the game, we don't have a crossbow anyways, so it's not gonna fool us. Alright. So, the guy at the end of this hallway, sometimes he's in a bad position and wants to talk to you instead of letting you climb up the ladder. He can be a jerk like that sometimes, but it's not a big deal. Again, just avoid zombies as much as you can as you back to the beginning. So, getting around him can be difficult. Sometimes he can block your way a little bit, but that time it worked out. And climb up the ladder, and that's the end of Roberto. Okay, so for Peter, we want to do something that we haven't done in a long time. We want to not leave this room. I have run out of this room so many times. So what we want to do, walk up to the painting and survey it. E, A, scroll down, A, B. Cutscene, and then menu, use the chapter.
The war to
And
end
we begin
all
Peter.
wars redefined how mankind.
So, we started off Peter by running up this way to get a field envelope. Just pick it up, and then run back down. Now we are going to the room that we picked the emerald up in as Paul. So a bit of walking for stamina, because he was out. Up to this guard, open the envelope, and then use the orders. Leaves. Letting us go in here, and pick up the revolver. Lights go out. And we go to the Hall of the Tome of Eternal Darkness once more. Alright, so now there are monsters around. We, again, ignore the people in distress because that's slow. It's slower to help them. And we run down these stairs over here. So, Peter's basically out of stamina. He doesn't have a lot either. Really. Through these doors, take a couple steps, just a couple, magic menu, and then spell 6, just align it to Chiturga to summon a trapper. And again, the reason to go to Chiturga, the quickest to just menu too. Lock onto the body and A to trap it. Door, pick up the circle of power, and now we have the 7-point. Uh, 7-point circle. Turn that wheel. Go across. Run up to the fuse box, and we make our 7-point spells. So we want Protect, Self, all of these use 4 Paragons. 4 Paragons. Creature. Summon. Actually, I'm going to go back because I did that wrong. Well, not wrong, but a bit slower than optimal. So the 4 paragons: Creature, Protect, Summon, Creature, Area, Summon, Absorb, Area, Area, Dispel, Absorb, Self, Area, Project, Project Item, and those are our 7-point spells. So, now I'm going to shuffle my spell assignments around a little. I'm going to assign spell 3. I'm going to assign spell 9, 7-point. Zealous Off Alignment. Spell 7, 7-point. And spell 11, 7-point. So, I don't have the Dispel on anymore. But I have Reveal, 2 levels of the magic attack, the small one and the big one, a big shield and a big store. After those are assigned, over to the lucky penny, use it there, and then pull this lever, and that's done. Also, hello D-Magician, welcome. Hop through this door, cast your 7-point Reveal Invisible. It takes a little while to do these spell crafting quickly and without mistakes, but just do the best you can and eventually you'll get it really quick. It's one of the hardest parts of the game to do really quickly. So we get the sheet music. It's the same as before, as all the others. The page is a little bit torn, which is supposed to make it a bit harder to figure out. If you haven't just been doing a speedrun, it can be a bit difficult to remember, but it's the same as always. It opens up the cabinet just like it did with Paul, but this time there's a handle over there. So, just run across and pick up the handle. And since we have the Reveal Invisible up and we saw that there's this door over here, we can just go up to the door. You can mostly just ignore the Bone Thieves, they will rarely cause you problems. Equip the revolver, use the handle, go through. And then just follow the doors. Follow the hallways as normal. So, we got a sanity effect that rather annoys me in this room. We have to be locked in for a little while. Okay, and now I'm trapped. Good. Okay. So that doesn't happen. That should not happen. So what I'm going to do to recover from this is a 7-point to trigger pull. To trigger aligned recover. I honestly thought I was about to game over. So that was bad. And you just, for that sanity effect, you just get locked in for a while. You try the doors, eventually you can leave again. I just got really unlucky and got blocked in by the zombies and couldn't kill them. So, I'm actually out of bullets now because I was pretty desperate. So I'm going to replace my what would normally just be revolver shots with 3-point attack spells. I'm going to use a Ulioth pool here. And this is desperation backup strats. This should not be happening. No need to use the Ulioth pool there under normal circumstances. So through here, fire a shot at each of those two trappers. Fire at the first one, around the corner, lock on, fire at the second. Right around this side of the table, the left hand side. Push open the shelf. Step in here. Lock onto the trapper, fire. Right around here, there's just a rat, don't worry about it. So, step in here, turn around, lock onto the trapper, fire. So, he's kind of in the way, so. Turn around, lock on, fire. Turn around, grab the key, and then leave. So, there are two ways of doing the boss in this level. I will do the easier method, partly because I had to do all of that with my magic in order to actually make things work after what happened in that one room. So step in here. 3-point attack. Gets rid of all the trappers in here. Run around and get magical elixir. Now out of stamina. That's okay. If you feel like it, you can cast a Chaturga pool to get stamina as you're running through here. Over here, dining hall key, enter. We got these zombies, we can just run past them. And those are the last zombies we have to deal with before the boss. So go ahead and restore sanity. 7-point spell 2. Then down around here. So, go in, and this is the boss fight. Okay, so he's going to summon these 3 orbs. We want to stay at about the distance we come in at. And run as they fire to avoid them. Run either left or right. And then send off your 7-point attack as soon as the 3rd one passes you by. After it fires off, magical elixir to restore all your magic. This is a cutscene, you can skip it after a short time. He summons 3 zombies. As soon as the cutscene ends, use your 7-point spell again. The timing's a little tight, but as long as you've got it, you have things. You follow this pattern, it's fine. It'll take 2 cycles if you use the 5-point spell, but you have more leeway if you use it, if you don't feel like risking it with the 7-point. So so this final phase, there's a tell to when you can cast the spell. I'll point it out. I'll be using the 7-point. If you aren't comfortable with finding its tell, you can go ahead and use the 5-point. It gives you that little bit more leeway. So if you want to run when he lifts up his leg, you can walk when he's not. And then after a random amount of stomps, it is random, he'll kind of crouch like that, and that is the tell that you can do your attack. The timing is pretty tight. If you don't start pretty much immediately as he does his tell, you won't get your spell in time. And you can see the tell from the other side of the pit as well. Generally, I will run over here and dodge his legs back and forth like this, and then when he crouches down, cast the spell and run up close to the artifact. But it can be a little harder to see the tell from that angle. So I was staying over there to show it off. And we're done with Peter. So our next chapter is Edward. Edward takes a while. And it's because he's got a bit of waiting, a bit of back and forth as well. So this ghost asks for help. So go offer help. Tells you her problems and gives you a key. So we haven't had access to the basement, but now we do. It's just over here where it's always been. So come over to this fuse box, open it up, Penny, trip the breaker, and then upstairs. You need to run to that table. And a lot of these turns are actually... A lot of these turns can actually be deceptively difficult to do. When they're done right, they look easier than they are. But it just takes getting a feel for it to get them. Okay, so there's a cutscene here, and then we will hop into the menu and chapter. Edward is unique in that there is no narration before skipping the cutscene. So the first thing we want to do, pick up this book, then leave this area and go upstairs. Through this door, the room we got Kareem's chapter in way earlier. This journal. Or book. Journal? I don't remember. Whatever. Whatever it is, it's a book. And then we go to the room with the clock in it. Much like we did with Alex at the very beginning of the game. So, historical journal, get the hour hand out, navigate one down for the other journal, and then use each hand of the clock. But no need to examine the clock, that was a mistake on my part. Alright, and we set the clock to 3:33, just like with Alex. And just like with Alex, you can use the D-pad for minor adjustments. Analog stick is quicker. Alright, So, we pick up the Tome of Eternal Darkness. We get this. And we've got a little bit of time-sensitive stuff going on. So, here's what we do. L11. Align to Ulios. It's not majorly time-sensitive, but I am just going to be going and explaining. Through the door. Shield, assigned to as we assigned it. Trigger aligned. Move up. Reveal invisible, as we assigned it, 7 points as well. Over here. Spell list, spell 1, spell path alignment on the revolver. Alright. So if we don't have the reveal invisible up, the vampire will disappear and make everything a lot harder. As it goes and causes havoc in the mansion. Pick up the half of the key that fell down. Through the door, turn, lock on fire, aim for the head, fire 4 times, and then duck through the door. Ducking through the door saves a little bit of time, as it cuts off its animation of running away, and then the sound of it opening and closing a door. It saves a minor amount of time. Optional, really. But every little bit does help. Now that we've fought it once, we need to prepare for the second fight with it. Over here, to grab the saber off the wall. Saber is quite useful. And we do have to wait a bit, so it's okay to walk here and there, because we'd just be waiting anyway, so there's not too much pressure. So here, recast the reveal invisible so it doesn't run out. Menu. Everything is set up to just go right into enchanting the saber. Saber's in the default position, so once you get Dispel 1, just mash A through and you're good. And now we wait here for the vampire to come back. It takes him a minute. When he comes back, 3 hits to the head with the saber. If you want, you can run and duck through the door again. Saves less time this time because you're further away and have to run with him a bit. Okay, then back up to this door. I've taken some shield hits, so I will reapply the shield. And now we wait. I'll be reapplying the reveal invisible in a moment. Just so that I know that it'll be up. I will reapply it now that it's run out. Before we were at the lamp, so that it would just run up to us and we'd have time to see that it was there before having to actually fight it. This time we're right up by the door because we'll be able to attack it immediately. So lock on, swing for the head, 3 times it runs away. Drops the top half of the key. Gives it to us. Now we go into the inventory, mix the halves, spell menu, 3 point to fix the key. If you're worried, you can recast your Reveal Invisible before coming down here. Run up to the stone, hit it 3 times. Take a step away so that when you kill a vampire, it won't be blocking the ladder. And then use the ladder. And run down the stairs. Once we go into the next screen, we are going to cast our 7-point assigned Jiturga pool. And we're doing this for stamina because Edward has to do a lot of running and doesn't have a lot of stamina to run with. So, we lose all our sanity pretty much immediately, but it doesn't matter too much. We're not too concerned about it. You can run through those shields those area shields while they're casting them, but be careful not to get caught in the middle, because if you get caught in the middle, you're going to be stuck there. So, assign to this array. So, again, walk up, close to it, swing the sword, skip some walking animation. This is the next place it's relevant, after Pius's chapter. Okay, so here, one to the right, assign area. And if you don't get the swing, you walk into the middle. Saves some frames to get the swing, so it's not a big deal if you miss it. Just across this bridge, avoid the trappers. If you want to, when you enter this room, you can cast a 3-point attack to just get rid of the trappers and not have to deal with them. That is perfectly fine. It's a bit riskier to not do that, but completely possible, as you see. In this room, we want to hang around this corner and pull the lever. There's some horrors fighting over there. We're not too concerned about them. And again, we just want to avoid being hit by things. So, I'll do this one next. It doesn't matter a whole lot which order you do these in as Edward. The only one that matters a lot is the last one. So most of them are just paragons. You can just examine them and then immediately press A if it's a paragon. This is essentially what we do with Edward. We go up, we go into that central room, select an array, go activate it, go into the room it sends us to, pull the lever, go back to the central hallway, rinse and repeat. And you start to learn which runes go to which runes after you've done it a few times. Next we'll assign this one. That was incorrect. So here, we want to go to the left and assign spell. I'm going to go ahead and cast the 7-point Jiturga pool. We're here. Then go into the portal. 3-point attack. And then dispel. 5-point. We don't have it assigned, so we do have to go into the menu to actually do it. And if there's there are a lot of ways to do Edward's chapter. The only thing to really speed it up is optimizing the order you get these runes in. Usually I do this one and then this one. I just kind of selected this one, but this one lets us go and pull the lever for this one, so we can just run out after that rune. So I did my order a little off there. And there's nothing wrong with experimenting with the order, finding out what works, what feels comfortable, what seems to go fast. A 3-point attack because there's a annoying trapper in this room. And as we go along here, there's a barrier on the floor. We can actually just slip by it by going there, close to that little bump in the wall. And we got paralyzed by the horror, which is unfortunate. But yeah, slipping by close to that wall is a good thing. And yeah, usually it'd be 3-point attack, then the 5-point dispel around here, run up, pull the lever, then run out, and then just run to the exit next time when using the after assigning the dispel. That's what I'm trying to say. I just did my order a little odd this time. Going to do this one next. This one is the room that the horrors were fighting in before, after our first rune assignment. So we basically just ignore them, let them do their thing, and just leave. Because we've already pulled that lever. Alright, so hop in here. It's out of stamina, so cast the Chaturga pool. Then this rune. If you miss the first swing when you are swinging into a portal, you'll lose about the time that you would normally save. About, I'm not certain. Alright, so when we're in this room, we go along the right, or pull the lever, and this Bat Guardian cast an attack spell while we were in a cutscene and not a valid target, so it just got rid of the zombies without actually hurting us at all, which was nice of it. As long as we keep moving, we won't get hit by the attack spells, so it's fine. Up here. And pull the lever. And as you can see from that barrier, there's another room that connects to this one. And since this room had a lever to exit, that means we also go into that room. So we go through there 3 times. And our last rune will be one of the ones that leads into that room, because it's one of the runes closest to the exit, and we will need to run away. Next, we will do this rune. This one again is a Paragon, so just examine, scribe, done. So, scripted sanity effect here. Little cutscene. Then skips through it after a moment. So, once again, back to the central room. And then straight across this room. Now this trapper can be a bit scary. Alright, one to the left, and assign Zalkos. You can actually do the assignment while the rune is still scrolling. Just as long as you're scrolling to the correct one. And as long as it's not the last rune, if you put in the wrong rune, you can fix it before you leave. Alright. So, Ed's out of stamina again, so after we go through the door, we will cast our 7 point. Then assign this last rune. Would have been faster to just pass over the middle and then dip right to activate it. I don't know why I went around the longer way. And then scribe the last Paragon. It gets us a cutscene. If we've gotten any of the runes wrong, it will undo it, and we will have to go and assign it again. And sit through that bit of cutscene again, up until the rune that was wrong. If you got a rune wrong, it will restart that cutscene. It will end that cutscene, and you have to watch it again when you assign the correct rune. So, it's definitely preferable to assign the correct rune the first time, not have to backtrack. Alright, so now we leave. If you really want to, you can do a 3-point attack to get rid of the trappers in this room. Usually, they don't cause too much trouble. But they can if you're unlucky and not careful. And now we're just leaving the way we came in. Up these stairs and out. Past the horrors. They usually don't cause any harm. They can if you're unlucky and move badly. but usually you're just fine. And then we climb the stairs, and when we get to the balcony area, we are done with Edward. So we go through the cutscenes, get this letter, and we run to the basement. So, once we're here, we grab the shotgun and the pickaxe, BA. You can do it fairly quickly, like most menus. Most item pickups. And then we are going to the little dent in the wall Max walked through a while back when we were getting Paul's chapter. Pickaxe. Get through the cutscene as soon as you can. Enter the menu. And a 3-point Chaturga dispel. Spell 5. We have to pick up the stethoscope. Now, once we leave this room, we are going to do a 3-point attack. And start running around. The enemy positions are somewhat randomized in that hallway, so they can get to be in scary spots. Back to the basement. And now we use the stethoscope here to unlock the safe. Messed up there. So we've got 59. Go around the other way. Get to, I believe that was 86, 46, 81, 46. I'm not good with the actual number, I just kind of wing it, more or less, actually. I don't have the actual numbers memorized, I have the positions. I know the positions, not the... I don't actually look at the numbers too much, that may seem odd. But anyway, ashes to ashes.
Wherever disaster and death lurk.
So now we've got Michael. It is very tempting to get the guns, since he has the best guns in the game. But the way I'm going to show this is not getting the guns. I'm going to show the pacifist way through here, because that's a bit faster. It might be a little more dangerous. If you aren't comfortable, you can pick up the guns and use them primarily against trappers. But I'm going to show the pacifist way through here. So just up that ladder, grab the amulet. And we've got this ladder over here. Run around the zombies, pick up the staff. One more ladder here. Mix the staff and the amulet. Immediately into the menu again. Use them. So you can move these. You cannot move this diagonally, but you can move it left and right, up and down with the analog stick. You can also use the D-pad. And you want to align the beam to hit each dome. I generally go for the dome on the right first, but there's nothing wrong with doing the left one first. And then after each dome, you want to get to the little pyramid on top, and it opens up the floor and ladder behind you. once more, picking up the tone. This is our last time here. So, first thing we want to do now that we have that is cast a 7-point Uliath aligned magic pool, spell 11. Down the ladder and run by the trappers. Again, trappers are fairly randomized, so sometimes you can just run by without worrying. Sometimes you want to stop and sneak a little. Sometimes they try to get you, sometimes they don't. Trappers in general are kind of scary. So, just up this ladder, down this ladder, following a pretty straightforward path. Really? Alright, so we enter this room. As soon as we come in here, navigate up to spell 2 and cast it aligned to Zelotov. Restore your sanity fully. Through this door, immediately enter the menu and cast spell 6. Aligned to Chiturga, again, is just the fastest menuing. Lock onto the obelisk there, I guess you could call it. Whatever. And trap it. Go down. And there are 2 trappers in this hallway. We want to agitate them. Okay, so we got trapped because we got body blocked by a sanity effect zombie. Which is not a normal thing to happen, but hey. I kind of wanted to show off the trapper dimension anyway, so that's okay. So, in here, you see the portal in front of us is cycling. That cycle is random. You have to decide if you want to gamble on it turning purple quickly, or just jumping in as soon as you can. I'm going to just jump in, or no, I'll gamble. Okay, so that was a bad gamble. Should've just jumped in. It's very unfortunate to get the trapper dimension with Michael, because your magic routing is actually pretty tight. So this kind of throws things off a bit. So yeah, that was essentially a worst case scenario, what happened there. So, don't get trapped by the trappers, if you can at all avoid it, because it's a big time loss. So, generally, what you want to do, they'll be somewhere in this hallway, run past them, get around here, and then kind of duck back and around, kind of like with Anthony. And then after both of them exploded, you go down the ladder. And this is another random bit. So, spell 12, aligned to Zelotov. This will bind one of the horrors, and they will fight. It's random what their attack patterns will be, it's random how much damage they do to each other, it's random what their health pools are. So that can take a long time or it can go really quickly. Depends on how the game's feeling at the moment. And yeah, so ideally you won't have to cast another magic pool at all. But I'm going to cast a 5.1 here because I'm out of magic and my pool's gone. So usually you get a sanity effect there. Okay, so 7-point reveal invisible, before you leave here. Run by the zombies, and go through this door. That door is invisible if you haven't cast the reveal invisible. So, ideally you run, not walk. I'm walking because I want my magic to come back, and your magic restores at the same rate regardless of how you move. So 5-point shield, that's a 5-point, 7-point assigned shield. And you won't have to do any delays if you've done your magic routing right and you didn't get hit by trappers. I just got a bit unlucky. So here, mix the detonator caps and the plastic explosives. Navigate up to spell 1 and cast a 7-point enchant on them. Because enchanted C4 is a good thing. So, these show up, use the bomb, and we turn around and run away. So now we've got a 3-minute timer to get out, which seems scary, but generally it'll only take you about a minute. So I'm going to cast the Chiturga Pool that we have assigned. And unlike every other time we've cast it, it is not for stamina, it is for health. The stamina is a nice bonus, but Michael really doesn't need it. We just want to make sure our health stays up so we don't end up limping at any point while we're trying to escape. Since our sanity is so low, we're taking health damage every time monsters look at us. Sanity effect here. Climb down the ladder. Alright, so after these guys, we just climb up this ladder, turn around, go through the door, and then up this ladder. And we're done with Michael. So we are on to the final part of this game, Alex's chapter. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to enter the menu and equip the Gladius, because I probably will have to anyways. Just hit these guys if they get in your way. Sometimes you can just run past them both, sometimes you have to hit them. Okay, duck over here and grab the Essence of Mantarok from behind this book. It's just that first bookcase, so not too hard to miss. So it's very easy to forget for starting. Adjust the mirrors. This is pretty much just like Michael's, except your objective is a little different. Want to get it on that globe, which just means bouncing it between these mirrors. Alright, through the door. And now, we go through here and run towards the front door. Because there's a package over there. Pick it up. And go this way. So, go ahead and open it at some point. Doesn't matter too much when, just that it's before you get all the way down. Restore sanity. down these stairs, or rather ladder. 7-point shield. We're doing a bit of setup before we get to where we actually need the setup for. That Sanity Restore is actually set up for the final boss at the end of the chapter, but it helps, but it also ensures that we don't get sanity effects on our way to him, so that's nice. The 7-point liturgical we have assigned. And if you don't have all the essences in your inventory, it will not let you in here. Even if you have the package and the other two, it won't let you in until you open the package. So, do that. 7-point. Zelotophaline spell 5. And then run to the central room. This should look very familiar because we just did this a moment ago as Edward. Alright, so first, drop an essence here. Turn around, drop one here. Then we've got to fix this last pedestal. So there's one piece there. One piece there. Mix them together. 3-point chant to fix it. Put it down. Put it on the last essence. Alright. So, we're going to start with this rune. Oh. I missed it that time. You can do this sword swing into portals with Alex as well. And again, few frames saved every time you do it correctly. So here, 2 in either direction for the creature rune. Alright, so if you want 3-point attack, I usually don't, but I will here. That attack is optional, as I said. Usually I just run past them. So, in here, 7-point reveal invisible. Run across. And we'll run out of our shield as we get over here. We will take some damage, but that's fine. And then cross here, and this one. The order is a little more important with Alex, because she has some spell effects that you want to be carrying over between some rooms. Alright, this one's just a Paragon. That trapper really wants me this time, but was able to sneak past him. Trappers won't get more agitated as long as you're sneaking. We wanted the reveal invisible up for this room, specifically because we get a cutscene if we enter this room and don't have reveal invisible on. 3-point attack to kill all the trappers. Trappers essentially have 1 HP, and the 3-point attack will hit everything in the room. 3-point attack in here as well. And it just makes these rooms very much more convenient, because you just can hit the trappers and forget about it. Hit the shield. Through this door. Now, this room. Okay, so after I assign this Paragon, I'm going to enter the menu. Spell 11. Assigned to Ulyaoth. Not assigned, but aligned, rather. Hop in here. You can also cast this before you enter that portal. After you assign the rune, but before you enter the first teleporter. So spell 6 assigned to Ulyaoth. Just after moving to this little point by this pedestal. Without moving the spot. Go back into the menu. Spell list. Spell 8 aligned to Juturga. And then run to this corner and then walk. It might feel slow to be walking, but we need our magic to regenerate, and movement regenerates magic, Ulyaoth pool regenerates magic, so we'll have about enough when we get here. Just stand right next to the pedestal, and down point version, spell 10. Align to Zeltoth to summon a horror. We get the horror tutorial because we haven't summoned one before. Have it step onto that panel, and we can keep going. We've got 2 shield baubles left, which plenty. Running back down here. And now we want this one at the very bottom right. And again, this one's just a Paragon, so assign it, leave. Was a little off on that swing. It's fairly precise. It's not so insane that not insane, so no problem in learning it, but it's a little bit precise. Spell 12 assigned to Zeltoth. This is essentially the same thing that happened during Michael, just we need to get 2 horrors dead this time. If you're lucky, the one you're controlling will kill one of the ones you're not controlling, and you'll only have to cast the spell once. Usually you do have to cast it twice. Just start casting it once the first one you balance has died. Then we can come over here. Cast the shield. Alright, and 7 point Zeltoth the spell. This will get rid of our magic pool, but it will also make so we can leave the room. A little bit of walking for stamina, then run to the central room. Alright. So, we can do this one next, that's fine. From here, it's not as important, the order. Watch out for that trapper. Because it's essentially the same deal as it was with Edward now, but it is still a little more important than Edward. So here, we want to sneak along this purple area, because if you make too much noise, the room resets. And in addition, you lose all your sanity and have to restore your sanity before you can keep going. But yeah. Just sneak across that. Okay, so that was a miscast. I meant to cast the 7-point shield. No reason whatsoever to cast a 3-point attack there. Or any version of attack there. Alright, so next. This one. Assign the Paragon. And once we load in here, we can do a 7-point attack spell. I still have it assigned from when I went to fight the Greater Guardian as Peter. So I will cast it here. Any alignment, it doesn't matter which ancient the 7-point attack spell is aligned to, just that you cast the 7-point. So if you don't have it just assigned, you can just quickly go through and cast a Chaturga aligned 7-point attack. That is perfectly fine. Chaturga pull. So we can just keep sprinting. It's okay to take a little bit of damage on the floor. When you're near the end like that. We'll assign this one. We go one to the right and assign Summon. Pass the shield. 7-point as we have assigned. You definitely want the shield and the tool assigned, even if you don't have other things, because you use them so often. Back to the central room once more. Cross this one. Once again, we are going to go one to the left and assign this one to Zelatoth. And again, you can assign it while it is still scrolling. Recast our shield. And this will be our last shield. So, once we get in here, we're going to just duck immediately to the left and request Paragon. Three-point attack. Get rid of the 3 trappers in here. You technically can sneak past them, but that's a little bit... That actually takes a little bit longer. So, we've got, again, Summon, Zelatoth, and Creature. And those are correct, so it will let us go fight Pius now. And the reason we save this one for last is because it is closest to where we need to go to fight him. Or tied for closest, more or less. Not exact, but it works out well. We'll put it that way. Refuse to save. Unless you're really nervous about it. Alright, so Pius is a fairly straightforward final boss as far as these things go. Get through his cutscenes. Enter the menu as soon as we can. We have to watch the spell happen first. Okay, so spell list. Spell 1, 3 point, Belototh, Gladius. Dodge the attack spell. Run up to Pius and smack him with the sword. Get the artifact, and from there, it is random where the artifact will start showing up. Smack Pius, get the artifact. Usually the artifact will appear further from you. Sometimes, for whatever reason, it will insist on continuing to spawn close to you, which is nice when that happens, but this is normal. After 3 hits, we start to get ghosts. We start with Elia. We run through here, pick up the book, and then we find the artifact. It is still out, we don't have to hit Pius. Hit the artifact, as Alex, hit Pius. Hit the artifact, Anthony. Hit the artifact again. Pius. Then we change to Kareem after this hit. And this is pretty much the normal. Sometimes it'll, like I said, sometimes it'll spawn. Sometimes Kareem has a hard time hitting it, so I will lock on to it and do an overhead. But that could just be me. Okay, my health's kind of low. So I'm going to cast a 3-point Chaturga Pool. If you are not getting hit by Pius a lot, you don't really need that. I just was getting hit a bit and wasn't feeling comfortable with my health. So Max, Paul, and Roberto here. And you don't want Pius to hit you in ghost form, as he did there, because it will revert you to Alex, and you have to go hit it again. Oh. Here we go. It's had a close spawn. That was nice of it. Alright, so now we need to hit it with Roberto. It's down there again. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so hit it as Roberto. It goes away. And now we've got the final phase of this fight. So, we go into the menu. Spell 1, 7 point, Belototh, shotgun. Pius can cast either Protect Self or Protect Area here. We want him to cast Protect Area, which he did. It was nice. Lock onto his chest. Teleports, lock onto his chest. 3 shots like that, just at close range, and he's done. Cutscene. Cutscene. one to the left, a sign, and that's time. A sign. Hitting the Bankrock rune there is time. So, that's a complete Eternal Darkness run. I hope I covered everything adequately. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. There's an Eternal Darkness Discord where we're happy to answer questions.
For now, at least, you have proved to be an incredibly courageous young
You can
Your mother and
message me
father would have
somewhere,
been proud of you,
such as Twitch.
just as
Do you
I
have
am.
questions as well?
I'm sorry it had to be like this. It's not quite the inheritance I
And
had
I
in
hope
view,
this was helpful
but there
and
was so little time
can help you get started
and so
speedrunning this
much
game.
to do. Goodbye, Alex. I will miss you.
The fun run game might be a bit linear,
Where
but
emptiness had been,
it's got its fair amount of challenge to it.
seeped inside. Something
It's an enjoyable run for me.
I realized
Hope you can
that
enjoy
I
it
was
too.
not the only one. That there were many others like me, in other places, other universes.
And I will leave you with the
fighting
ending.
the same fight, all to serve the needs of the great ancient, and to have my world spared from eternal darkness.
And so it comes to pass. Of the three ancients, there is nothing. The mighty Chaturga has obliterated the insanity of Xelotath. The madness of Xelotath has overcome the power of Uliauth. The boundless Uliauth has decimated the power of Chaturga. All at once, separate and simultaneous. For the universe is made of many time streams, many possibilities, all in harmonious synchronicity. Only Mantarok remains, slowly dying. Mantarok, keeper, overseer, warden of ancients, chaos, an entity trapped between the veils of reality and the enchanted stakes that impale its flesh. Unable to rally its guardians, it could rely only on its subtle manipulations of the Roivas family to destroy its enemies. Knowing the nature of the ancients, it used its pawns to play them against each other, resulting in their mutual annihilation. Now it will languish forever, festering in its tomb, plotting